Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show. Now, I know this is one of your favourites, Baz.
Yep.
You've talked about this before. We want to talk about the dressage. It's a
Yep.
great Olympic event and a massive amount of work goes into it. And sometimes people look at it and go, oh, I'm not sure about that. I said, I can tell you,
Massive
I'm talking
amount of
about a massive
I agree.
amount of training. Mary Nitschke's been good enough to give us some of her time. Mary, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
All right, young dressage rider at, what are you, 22?
Yep.
So, and your record's outstanding. I mean, you've represented the state, you've ridden for us nationally, still in that phase of trying to get to the Olympics or the World Championships. But just take us through, for most people, the average week for you of training. What's an average week?
Well, an average day
Yep.
starts around probably 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I go out and feed in stables and put the horses out, and maybe I'll come back in and have some breakfast or start looking at what my day is going to be. So I'll be riding. I normally ride 4 or 5 horses a day, so it normally takes me about an hour and a half a horse. And then by the time I finish riding, it's time to bring them all back in again, get all the feeds ready, stables, put them all in, and then that's that. That's the day.
What about strength work for you? Because, I mean, it's easy, people go, all you have to do is sit on the horse, but we know it's much more than that.
Yeah.
By the end, you've just trained 5 horses, each one an hour and a half. You do a quick sum, you go, it's nearly an 8-hour day.
Yep.
At what stage do you start to go, this is starting to fatigue, I'm fatiguing now?
Well, when you ride so many horses, you come to be riding fit, but as well as being riding fit, I do personal training 3 times a week, because riding is all about straightness and being even on both sides of the horse. So if you're even and you're straight, then you can help the horse be the same, because everyone has one side that they're stronger on, and horses are the same. So I do my own personal training as well, so to make sure I'm ready. But once you're riding fit though, you sort of just get on and go, like you just keep going.
All right, Gillian Rolton was a good friend of mine, and unfortunately not with us anymore, Gilly, but an absolute beauty. I know you won one of her awards too, so congratulations on that to you.
Thank you.
She had a couple of favourite horses.
Yes.
You're riding 5. You got a couple of favourites in your 5?
I try not to have favourites.
I know you try not to, but you have.
Well, they're all lovely. Like, they're all amazing to have in the stables, but I do have my number 1 horse, Cardinal. He probably is my favourite. He's my number 1 horse, and we have been all over Australia together, and I just love him.
So you're riding 5 horses a day. That's what you're saying.
Roundabout, yeah.
Roundabout.
Changes.
5:30 in the morning.
Yep.
What time does all that finish?
Well, I normally try and feed at around 5:30 in the evening.
Oh, okay. So that's a day you're talking about.
That's a day. So
okay.
so in the evening, so I feed them in the morning, 6 o'clock, 6:30, and then in the evening I try and bring them all in and have them done by 5:30. However, if something goes wrong during the day, then I could be bringing them in the dark at 7 o'clock or whatever happens.
I mean, the horses have got minds of their own as well. I mean,
yes.
You know, there's no doubts about it. I've seen all this happen, Phil. There was a riding thing up near us that we used to watch quite a bit. You might have your favourite horse, but if old Cardinal was not feeling all that good that morning, he doesn't say, hey, listen, Mary, I'm not feeling all that crack. I'm not going out at 5:30. It's a bit cold.
Yeah.
I'm not going. As a matter of fact, I might throw you off. What I'm saying is, can you pick how your horse is feeling in the day? Can you see a horse if he's not at his peak?
I probably have a pretty good idea when I normally I walk them around a little bit, and I can gauge a bit when I get on them. But you know, sometimes if I've got a young horse and it's a really windy day or it's really horrible, I just say, you know what, you can have the day off.
Give the horse a day off.
Give the horse a day off, and if it's really extreme conditions, sometimes it's just not worth.
Is this a family thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Take us through how you got started here, because obviously there would be family involved somewhere.
Well, Mum and Dad were from Victoria, and they were very into horses, and Dad has a very strong racehorse background in thoroughbreds. Okay. But we moved to the city in 2002 or around about there, and we lived in the city. And then during high school, my dad said, you have to do a co-curricular sport. So I worked my way through all the co-curricular sports, couldn't really find anything that I liked very much. Yeah. And we later found out that was pre-glasses. So I didn't like any of the sports because I actually couldn't see.
Okay. That helps.
So yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
So we ended up moving on to the horses because every little girl wants to ride a horse, and that was that.
And it's natural, isn't it? We talked about this last week about people finding their sport, didn't we? It's funny, isn't it? You would have tried netball and all these other things.
Netball, basketball, tennis,
Probably
everything.
Get between the eyes because you didn't have your glasses on. And,
exactly right.
All that sort of thing. And
She
then
thought
all of
she
a
was
sudden,
patting a dog and it was a horse. And she had the glasses on like this.
then all of a sudden you jump on a horse and everything feels natural.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that's what's happened to you here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was sort of day
Yeah.
one, that was it.
Hey, Heath Ryan's your coach.
Yep.
How much input does a coach have during the week?
Well, Heath is based in New South Wales.
Yep.
So I generally try and link up a few competitions. So I'll leave home, go to an event, and then we'll go and base up at Heath's. So he's in Newcastle, and so we might stay there for 4 or 5 weeks, train, like solid training for those 4 or 5 weeks, and go on to the next event. But then not at home, I sort of just tinker away by myself. But if I do get into trouble, I will give Heath a call and say,
Hey, before we let you go, another genius, Adelaide genius. Mary's doing Bachelor of Psychological Science, majoring in Human Neuroscience.
Yes.
Sounds impressive. And I'm sure it is impressive.
Sounds hard to me.
Any of it relate to what you're doing with the horse?
Well, I initially started the psychological science because I thought, that crosses in, sports psychology, coaching, that sort of thing, and I wanted to do that. And then the neuroscience, I had a particular interest in that, and so I wanted to start that. But yeah, I do really enjoy it. I have deferred this year, as at the beginning of the year I was planning on being in Brisbane by now.
Yes.
But that obviously didn't happen because of COVID. But I deferred, and with my intention of keeping my world ranking, and I needed to keep going to all the events to stay at where I was in the world rankings, being number 19.
Yep.
And so I deferred before the census date, and then COVID happened.
Okay.
So I'm having a nice quiet year.
Yeah, oh well, I don't know if it's a quiet year riding every day. We'll be very interested to get you back and find out how you went in the next competition. So
Exactly.
Mary Nitschke was our special guest. Stay with us.